Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 quadruple video for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about if Summertime Iseria is worth pulling for. Now her banner is going to replace Shu's banner and also Yulha's banner in about the next few days, and she will also be running alongside Sermia. If you guys are wondering if Shu's worth pulling for, Yulha's worth pulling for, or even Sermia's worth pulling for, make sure you check out my last few videos talking about those units and if they're worth pulling for or not. But Summertime Iseria, keep in mind, is a limited unit, so you should technically prioritize her above the other units because she only comes once a year during the summertime, if that wasn't obvious enough. Now that being said, before we get started with the video though guys, if you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to get updates when I go live on YouTube and also when new videos drop, because we have been streaming some Epic 7 lately and also some Countersight and Artery gear for those that play those games as well. That being said, let's get started. Is Summertime Iseria worth pulling for? Now right off the bat, I'm going to be honest, she is a limited unit, so you definitely want to prioritize over the other units, and she is pretty waifu as you guys can see. One of my favorite units design wise, and I think she is a very strong unit right now in the current meta for PvP. Now looking at her skills, let's talk about what she does if you guys don't know. Her S3 is an AoE attack that will decrease attack of everyone and also increase her own speed, and at the end of her turn she will detonate bombs inflicted on the enemy. Now this works really well with her S2 because her S2 actually is an attack passive increase similar to Hwayang, but she also cannot critical hit, so you're not going to build her on any crit. But the best part about this is after an ally, except for Summertime Iseria, uses an AoE attack, she has a secondary effect where she will CR push everyone by 15% and plant a bomb on 2 random enemies for 2 turns. So the way this works is you have a unit go before Summertime Iseria, preferably with an AoE strip so that they can't resist your bombs that you place on with your S2. So like Cerise, Peyra, Ran are very good and common openers with Summertime Iseria, and after they open and strip and use their AoE attack, Summertime Iseria then will land her bombs and CR push all of her teammates, and ideally go next and then S3 and then detonate all those bombs, and basically you can cleave teams this way. She does a lot of damage because bombs will scale with the amount of attack you have, and since you cannot crit, you have a passive built in that gives you passive attack. You're going to see a lot of Summertime Iserias on like 5k, 6k attack, one-shotting squishy units really easily. The best part is that the bombs don't actually care about elemental disadvantage, so even against ice units you will land those bombs, and even though your S3, if it misses the initial attack, the bombs will still detonate, making her a very powerful cleaver. She doesn't really care about her element at all, and she's still very strong. Now we have our S1, which is a single target attack that has a chance to dispel 2 buffs. You guys might think, why is this good on her? Well, you're going to see with her artifact later on why it's very good on this unit. Now you can soul burn this for an extra turn. It's very nice because you can soul burn right after this, and then, you know, if you are lapping the enemy team, your S3 is only a 3-turn cooldown. You can possibly even S1 into S3. You're going to see that she has a way to actually plant bombs with her S1 with her artifacts later on. So yeah, Summertime Iseria, PvE, she's not really used anywhere. You can use her in like Hell Queen as a stripper or dispeller. I've seen some people actually use her there and it's actually pretty decent. The only thing is you have to be careful about the debuff limit on the boss. If you have 3 or more debuffs on Queen, she's going to cleanse and then do a lot of damage to you, so be careful about that. But yeah, generally PvE you won't really use her. She's mostly going to be used in PvP where she is a massive threat. So as you guys, if you guys were listening earlier, you know, you have Summertime Iseria with like a Cerise or a Peyra or a Ran, something that can open. Ran is really good with her, especially because he has an attack buff for her. You can actually strip all the immunity buffs at the start, like I said, you know, land all your bombs, S3, and then you just win the battle that way. Summertime Iseria Cleave or Ciceria Cleave is a very common cleave team. It is pretty easy to build because even though your Summertime Iseria has low attack, the bombs do so much damage. It doesn't even matter because of her passive giving her so much bonus attack. When you Mulagora this fully, this will give you plus 60% attack. It's crazy strong and makes her a very powerful cleave unit. You can also use her in non-cleave teams as like a bruiser. I've seen some people run her on a bruiser team where she's a bit weaker in attack, higher in effectiveness, and a lot more tankier, and you basically just use the bombs to stun, because when bombs detonate, not only does it do massive damage, but it also stuns, and the stun will always ignore effect resist. So if you have her on very high effectiveness and you land the bombs and then you detonate them, she will do a lot of CC and a lot of controlling, as well as doing pretty decent damage. And the thing is, you know, her bombs are very, very powerful in the fact that, it's only a 2-turn debuff, so the bombs will activate very quickly. It's not like a 3-turn, you have to wait for it to blow up. 2 turns happen very, very quickly, and actually at the start of the 2nd turn, it actually detonates. So it's only 1 turn of, the enemy being able to take a turn or take an action, and then they'll get stunned the following turn. So it's very, very good. Summertime Iseria, very, very good unit. Even in bruiser teams, she's very solid. It's just that she's very strong in cleave, and that is why people are using her in cleave specifically. Is she worth pulling for? As a newer player, she's not going to really be useful to you because she is kind of niche. You're going to use her mostly in cleave teams for the most part. You're not going to use her in PvE at all, but she is a limited unit. She's very waifu. She does require high investment later on in higher tiers, and you're going to see from her artifact when we talk about it that you're actually going to need a lot of copies of it for it to work correctly. But, she is a limited unit, so you have that going for you. I would recommend pulling for her because later down the line, you'll probably end up using her, and honestly, who doesn't want this waifu, right? She's very, very nice, and I think she's really fun to use as well. But from a gameplay standpoint, you're not going to probably use her for, the majority of the early mid game, and we'll probably have to wait for late game to actually use her. Late game players, mid game players though, definitely want to pull for her. She's very strong in the late game PvP, and very fun to use as well. She's really good in Guild Wars defense as well. So that being said, that's all for Summertime Iseria. Now let's talk about her artifact. And now we have Summertime Iseria's artifact, Star of the Deep Sea. It is a Ranger exclusive artifact, and you're going to see the effect here is when you make a non-critical hit from your S1, your basic skill, you have a chance to plant a bomb on the target for 2 turns, and this cannot be activated by dual attacks, extra attacks or counter attacks or anything. So you're mostly only ever really going to use this on Summertime Iseria, or even I guess like ML Flan, but for the most part Summertime Iseria because ML Flan isn't really meta. And you're going to see that it works really well with her S1 because if you remember, her S1 will actually strip 2 buffs, and you can actually strip the immunity and the bombs will activate or apply right after the strip or dispel occurs. So you can actually plant bombs on units that have immunity buff on them. So it's a really, really good artifact to have on her kit, and the S1 makes sense. It's kind of weird that, the bomb effect wasn't built into her S1 and it was made into the artifact, but I guess they did that for like balancing reasons because it would have been too overpowered if you can run her on like Guiding Light as well, right? But yeah, this artifact is pretty much required on Summertime Iseria to make it work, and you're going to see that it really sucks because only at max level at plus 30 you have a 100% chance to land the bomb, and if you don't have this max limit break, you're always going to have that RNG chance. Even at plus 15, it's only a 75% chance, which sucks. So, this artifact kind of has to be at plus 30 to work. Kind of similar to Drink, but even more so because Seaside Bologna, yes, she relies on her own artifact, Rainguard, Special Drink a lot, but Summertime Iseria needs the bombs to land or she will not work. She's super useless without the bombs. Her damage is pretty pitiful even with her high attack without the bombs detonating. So you kind of need this at plus 30, which is why, it kind of sucks because ideally if you don't have this at plus 30, you won't really be able to use her at endgame PvP consistently. For me, I kind of wailed on her banner. Not wailed, but saved a lot of bookmarks, and I do have this at plus 30, and it's a major difference from what I've heard. I haven't really ever tested this below plus 30, so I don't really know, but a lot of people say it's just like unplayable, and it's really, really bad. So yeah, the downside of Summertime Iseria is yes, you need to buy her artifact from the powder shop, but not only that, you're most likely going to have to pull for multiple copies of this to plus 30, or use her bottles if you really plan on using her a lot in the end game. For my Summertime Iseria, I use her pretty often, so I don't really regret bottling for her artifact and pulling for multiple copies. But for early game players and mid game players, your bookmarks may be better off spent elsewhere. So what I recommend if you're new to the game is just buy this one copy, and then next year if you want to actually pull for multiple, then it's worth it. Otherwise, don't go all in on this banner because Summertime Iseria, although she's waifu, although she's really good in PvP, you won't use her a lot in the early game and mid game for PvE, and she's not like super meta in PvP. Actually, she's pretty meta, but she's pretty niche as well. You only really use her on Guild Wars defense consistently and in cleave teams in like World Arena and stuff like that. So yeah, that being said, artifact is pretty iffy, but yeah, both the unit and the artifact are technically very, very good. So that being said, that's pretty much it for this Shuju pull video, guys. I kind of, would recommend newer players to, pull for the unit, buy one copy of the artifact if you can. Don't worry about plus 30ing the artifact until like next year or next time when she comes around. And for late game players, if you really want to use her, then yes, you're going to have to pull for a lot of copies of this artifact because it is pretty much required at plus 30 to make her work. That being said, guys, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.